All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is 5 p.m. West Coast time. What time is it in Hawaii? I think it's 3 p.m. Hawaii time. It is 8 p.m. on the East Coast and 7 for our Central Coast. Central time, folks. I like to call it Central Coast sometimes. Yep, that's how it works for me. All right, we've got Thomas the Turtle in the house. We have got Darlene in the house. We've got Rick giving Lono some props. Fantastic. All right, well, now that we've got some folks gathered in, why don't we get the party started? Excelente. Okay, so it is the day of the extra hour. Hey there, let's see here. Aiden okay. All right, how about with Aiden? Okay, is probably how you say it. Wow, that took way longer for me to figure out than it should have. How you doing? Good to see you chatting here. I am Mad Statter. You are part of the StatterBox crew. Now that you've said hello, Aiden, okay. All right, so welcome in. I'm just curious today to see if all y'all were bossed around by your pets or if you just slept in that extra hour. I'm not sure where you're from, Aiden, okay. But here on the west coast of the USA, we have this thing called daylight savings time, and we switched over to standard time, so everybody's clocks are all wonky. I know that the international community has their own schedule for daylight savings time, and some communities don't switch at all, so I'm not quite sure where you are in the scheme of things, but most of us here on this stream, with the exception of those in Arizona and Hawaii, of course, have experienced the luxury of the fallback time of the year, which is that time of the year where you get that extra hour back they stole from you back in spring. So let's see here. So Darlene's telling me package was finally returned, smash cookies, so not sending those your way, but we'll get the movie you intended. Fantastic. But you know what, Darlene? I hope those smash cookies don't go to waste. If they're not stale, maybe put them on some ice cream, or if they are stale, maybe throw them out for the squirrels and the birdies, because it's getting super cold these days, and I'm assuming in your neck of the woods up in Wisconsin, it's even colder than it is here in Seattle. Seattle, by the way, yesterday, well, we'll get into that later, actually. Let's say hello to Poppy Shaney and Thomas the Turtle. E-Music is here. Fantastic. Let's see what else we've got going on here. I'm not sure if I have missed anyone. Okay, so if you're from the Netherlands, gosh, you know, Aiden, okay. I'm wondering, does your country participate in daylight savings time? And if so, when do they do that? Because I have a feeling Europe already did their fallback. I think the United States is an outlier in like when we do ours, and we're not in sync with the rest of the world. So let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods in regards to that. It's always good to learn things and stuff. Hey, Cindy Krause, good to see you in the house. And okay, Rick. All right, yeah, Rick says that maybe those smash cookies could be thrown to Rickfoot. You got to appease the Rickfoot, right? Right, there you go. And let's see here. Darlene telling Poppy Shaney she finally got to see the Halloween stream with Anson and Sharky. So cute. He's gotten so much bigger. Absolutely, Darlene. You know, I really wished that I had the time when Poppy Shaney sent me that video. What I really wanted to do was go back and search Andy Boomatai's shows to find the video that Andy made. And then I was going to see if I could steal that off the internet, which I don't think I can. Andy's videos are kind of hard to steal. He does things and stuff to them, I think. But yeah, I wanted to play those videos back and forth or next to each other, so you could see just how much bigger he has gotten. Because it was at least, I don't know, what, a year and a half between those videos, and in that age, at that age range, a year and a half, a whole other person emerges, basically. So, oh, okay, Darlene, those cookies that you were sending won't go to waste. Perfect. Good to know. Kenny from the Cove coming in as the solid announcer. StatterBox crew, let's all give it up for our hostess. Let's see, the hostess with the mostest, Mad Statter. All right, I feel like I should get you a job, Kenny, with what is it, the Publishers Clearinghouse, like Johnny Carson's sidekick used to have? God, what was that guy's name? Ed McMahon. There you go. You're the Ed McMahon. You got to go around giving away free monies. Money that doesn't belong to you, by the way. So I'm not asking you to give your money away. You know, the publishers, they're clearinghouse. They're clearing their house of all their money. And let's see here. Okay, cool. Everybody is saying hello to one another. All right. So Pussycat is not here yet. However, Pussycat already knows this. So I'm going to fill you guys in on the story of how the kitty got named. Oh, you know the kitty. You know Leo. And if I had the picture that I had intended to have up, I would have a picture of Leo the kitty. But remember that kitty that we were all trying to name and come up with names for? Well, Pussycat last stream was like, his name is Leo. I'm a cat, I know. And it's like, sure you do, Pussycat, sure you do. Oh my god, you guys, his name is Leo. Absolutely, Pussycat knew exactly what was going on. So, Kitty Cat is in my house, and I'm talking to him, and I'm asking him what his different names are, and whether or not he likes Hendrix, whether or not he likes Nipsey, whether or not he likes Khan, this, that, or t'other, and he just couldn't even care less. But the moment I said, well, what, is your name Leo or something? He looked up at me, he meowed, and he wagged his tail. So, the kitty, his name is Leo. Yes, that is correct. We now have an official name for Silver Fox, the one I used to call Foxy. He is now Leo. Should have listened to the Pussycat all along. Should have listened to the Pussycat all along. Exactly. Okay, Leo it is. Yep, there you have it. And since I've started calling him Leo, he's been coming in and meowing in my face and then rubbing up against my legs and asking for cuddles. So, I think it's official. I really, really think it's official. Yeah, so Leo it is. Leo it is. Now, last night you guys might have noticed that there was some new lighting I was experimenting with. So today I decided to actually put this lighting on the stream. I'm going to rewatch it, see how horrified I am. But I know that I'm going to be super horrified because you guys, I went and did my hair and I don't know what I did to it, but it was about this big. And so before I went on, well, actually, no, I went and got in front of the camera and I said, oh, what am I doing? Auditioning for the role of a maid in Rocky Horror Picture Show? That's pretty much what it looked like. So, had to scramble to get that hair under control, which is why we were a couple minutes late. And Kenny, no, I did not run the name Kenny by him. So, because I already have a Kenny in my life, Kenny. No, I don't need two Kennys. I've already got a Kenny in the life. There we go. So, no need for pout. No need to pout. And, Rick, maybe I just need to re-shampoo with some Prel. You are not kidding me. I don't know what I'm going to do well, actually, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go outside and I'm going to go walking in the rain because you guys, this weekend, I want to say, now, definitely don't quote me on this, but I swear I heard a weather forecaster saying that 1 trillion, with a T, trillion gallons of water is being dumped on the state of Washington this weekend. And some of it, of course, is going to be coming in the form of snow. In fact, the passes right now, the mountains in Washington, the passes are closed both directions. So if you're on the east side of the state, you're going to stay there for a little while. And if you're on the west side of the state, well, you get to stay on the west side for a while. And yeah, so huge rain, huge snow, huge everything. But yesterday, just as the sun was thinking about, hitting the sunset times, the sky cleared up. It was sparkling with blue and wet sparkles. And I thought, maybe I can go get one last little video for beautiful, beautiful fall colors. And so I went to go grab the cell phone mount for my car because the GoPro wasn't charged. I didn't have time because we were literally burning daylight. So I'm looking for my mount and I cannot find my mount. And I spend so much time looking for my mount to get the cell phone, and the daylight is just burning. Like, I know that there's a particular set of pretty trees that looks really good around 3:30 in the afternoon, and it's like 3:15 and I can't find anything. So rush to the store, I buy another one. I don't even care. I buy another one and went out and ended up grabbing a video. Now, the video wasn't as good as I had hoped because indeed the sun was at a lower angle than I had anticipated. But that's okay, because after I got some video footage and after the sun went down, a huge storm came in, and this is kind of like what a lot of the area looked like. Yeah, that was last night. So now I did not take this picture, and this picture was just a little bit further north than where I'm at. But needless to say, it was a stormy evening. And yeah, Gina, so good to see you. And yeah, Gina, whoa, exactly. So, in a little bit, I'm going to be showing you part of the video footage that I caught. And bonus, you see, this was one of the reasons why I did want to go out, because you guys have been asking, particularly C Honda. Now, C Honda's not here, but that's okay because she'll be able to catch this on the rerun. The video that I'm about to show you is obviously West Seattle area, literally yesterday. Most likely it is going to be the only final fall colors video we're going to get this year because, exactly, eMusic, because it was a dark and stormy night. Yeah, so a lot of the leaves have already probably, after last night, been blown off, but also we're expected to get snow tonight. Snow. Are you flipping kidding me? Yeah, we're expected to get snow tonight. So I am fairly confident that this video is the final fall foliage video for 2020. But at the end, at the very, very end, yes, Cindy, snow, right? What? Getting snow in Seattle before Thanksgiving is unflippin' heard of. Now, Seattle traditionally has a Thanksgiving Day storm, and so I anticipate that is going to be happening this year. But to have snow before Thanksgiving, I mean, we've had it on Thanksgiving before, what with the storm, but no, before Thanksgiving, it's absolutely unheard of. So let's see here. So Kenny from the Cove, that picture looked a lot like Hobo Junction, a popular secret party spot from back in your younger days. And Poppy Shaney, yeah, I am sure. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. And yeah, Gina, right now it's not very cold, but actually at 5 o'clock this coming morning, so I guess technically tomorrow it's supposed to snow. It's supposed to start snowing just a little bit in the lowlands, but still, to have our first flakes this early, especially as Darlene is saying, before Wisconsin gets their first flakes, what is up with that? So yeah, yeah. But in the video of the fall foliage that I got for y'all, there's also a picture for about 2 seconds in that video. I caught a glimpse. I wanted to get better footage, but it did the time that we were burning daylight. But for about 2 seconds in the video, and I will probably stop the video and show them to you, you will see the house. What house? What house are you talking about? What house? There's all sorts of houses. What do you mean, the house? Well, some of you might have heard about a house that I ran into with my car. I hit a house with my car. I hit it with the car. Yeah, that's the house that's in the video. So you guys get to see the house that's in the video that I hit with my car. Yeah, that's the house. That's the house, all right. Hey, Malka503, good to see you. You got the alert for driving through tonight through tomorrow, 3 to 5 inches above 1,500. Yeah, and in the Puget Sound, they're actually anticipating we might see a few snakes. We might see a few snowflakes, even as low as under the 500 mark, which is where I live. So, and by the way, all right, I'm so glad Malka is here. Malka, thank you so much, because I got it this week, and we already know what we're going to be watching for StatterBox at the cinema next Saturday. So, get your kids, gather them around, because we are going to watch The Princess Bride. And we have Malka503 to thank for this honor. He donated this video to StatterBox at the cinema. Twice he donated it. First he donated it because he said he had it in his collection and he would just mail it to me. And I said, that's awesome. And then he couldn't find it in his collection. So you know what he did? Do you know what he did? He went and bought another copy to donate to StatterBox at the cinema. I mean, what, you guys, that's inconceivable. Exactly, Gina, inconceivable. So, this is what we're going to be watching next week, next Saturday, StatterBox at the cinema. Oh yes, The Princess Bride. Now, I think that this movie is pretty appropriate for all ages. Other people in my life circle do not think it's appropriate for all ages. They think it's violent, and they think it's not appropriate for little kids. I beg to differ, but if you've seen it before, then use your own judgment. And if you haven't seen it before, I think it's okay to let your 5-year-old watch, but you know what? Other people don't. So maybe don't let your 5-year-old watch. I don't know. I guess it depends on the kid and how they grew up. But it is a fun movie, as eMusic points out. It's a good movie. It's funny too. It's got Kenny from the Cove, Princess Bride, violent? That's inconceivable. Yeah, she really had a problem with the rodents of unusual size. She thought were particularly scary, and then that scene, she's a little more hippie than I am, and so she's, I guess, like a little more sensitive or something. I don't know. I disagreed with her take on the whole situation, but I don't have kids, and so I'm the last person anybody should be listening to in regards to, oh yeah, it's totally good for kids. Now, I will say this. If I say, oh no, don't let kids watch that, you probably should listen to me. Yeah, you probably should listen to me. If I think it's not good for kids, it's probably not good for kids. And, let's see here, Gina, you got the book that the movie is based on too, When Your Sister Passed. Oh, well then this story holds a real, close spot in your heart, I'm sure. Although I have to ask now, when you say you got the book that the movie is based on, I think there's actually 2 books. One of them is the original book that the grandpa is reading to the kid. But then there's another book that's more like the movie, because it's talking about how the grandpa is reading the movie or the book to his grandson. So I'm just wondering, which book is it that you got? Was it the one where the grandpa is describing, was telling the story of telling his grandkid the story? Or did you get the actual really thick book that the grandpa skipped all the good parts for? Because apparently the original book, I think, or at least they made me think it was an original book. Maybe that was just all a plot point in the movie. They made me think that the original book was really long and kind of boring. So, okay, so you got the actual book. Okay, so there really is the actual book. I'm not just making that up. Awesome. Okay. Rick, do you think that you can watch The Princess Bride? I think you might be old enough. I mean, when's your next birthday? Maybe we need to wait till the next birthday. And Let's see here. Okay, so Darlene, yeah, you wouldn't let the grandkids watch. Okay, so see, listen to Darlene. Don't listen to me, because Darlene, she's had kids and she has grandkids. So a little bit more appropriate person to make that judgment call. But I'm this tall. That's cute. That's cute. Right, exactly. There we go, Poppy Shaney. Yeah, Rick, you can only watch it if Darlene's there to close your eyes. And let's see here. Kenny from the Cove. After seeing Princess Bride with a former girlfriend, you drove her up the wall with your blatant overuse of As You Wish. Yeah, that could get a little annoying. You know, though, we have an electrical company in the Seattle area called As You Wish Electric, but the logo is a genie in the bottle, and so I really get confused whenever I see their trucks on the road, because it's like, what are you going for here? I mean, I know that you get 3 wishes from the genie in the bottle, but As You Wish is Princess Bride and has nothing to do with genies, so what? Those trucks always confuse me. And let's see here, Doe coming in, daylight savings time. We all know Hawaii stays the same. You went to the gym at 3 a.m., clocks on the wall said something else. Amazing. The gym can't get a ladder to change the time. You were trying to do things, get home at 6. You went to the locker room, it was 6:17. Outside clocks were 5:17. Oh no, you don't have time to go home on cue, but darn, people that work seems not important. Yeah, that could be very confusing, although I have to say I was confused in my own house today. And all I can say is thank goodness for these silly cell phones that are connected to the connections, because all of my clocks on most every place were still on yesterday's time. Only today was today's time. And so at 5 o'clock on my clock that's right here, I was kind of freaking out because I thought it was only 4. And as it turns out it was, but for a second, you know, whew, a little bit of heart attack there, a little bit of a heart attack. And it looks like Poppy Shaney doing some gift subbing to Love Pat. Excelente. Hey, Love Pat, good to see you here. Hope everybody has survived that extra hour. It sounds like Doe definitely got caught in a bit of a kerfuffle, but you know, at least it didn't have any major, huge consequences. Unlike, as Doe mentioned, people who have to actually go to work, they might have gotten into more of a kerfuffle. So yeah, exactly. It is so confusing, Love Pat. I mean, and the thing is I know that the cell phone is correct, but I still have this moment of panic about which one is the right one. You know, the mini heart attacks when your brain doesn't connect with reality kind of thing, or suddenly connects with the reality. And let's see here. So Kenny, you were fortunate enough to reset all your clocks while your concoction was simmering last night. Excellent. And Rick, you always leave one clock on the old time. I can appreciate that, and I used to do that with my microwave. I don't have a microwave anymore, so it's a moot point, but I used to do that with my microwave. And then once one day I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna switch it to the proper time. And I did switch it to the proper time, and then like 2 weeks later we had to switch it right back, because I was just like, why did I even bother? You know, I got so motivated to fix everything, and I really, if I'd have just put it off 2 weeks, it would have fixed itself. But you know, whatever. And yeah, Darlene, exactly. Double take with a little bit of a heart attack sometimes. You got it. And oh no, Rick, you just don't always remember which one you keep. You don't remember which one. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Good thing you retired, because I'm not so sure that excuse would fly well with your employer. Then again, I don't know. Your employer might point and laugh at you, because your employer has, you know, a good sense of humor and a love of the haha emote. So, you know, he could point and laugh at you like I'm doing right now there, Rick, with my little haha. But my best guess is most bosses wouldn't do the haha emote for you coming in an hour late. No, or an hour early. Well, an hour early, They might do the ha-ha emote. It's just like, nah, you're here longer than you meant to be. Yeah, Rick, I had a feeling it would not have come over humorously where you worked. I just, my gut told me that, yeah, they wouldn't have laughed. Nope, not at all. Not even close. So let's see here. Darlene's coming in, verifying, no, I don't think that boss would have been too happy. Nope, nope, nope. Not even. And let's see here. Belly Bear, exactly. We were just talking about this. Hello, timing off. Early, then late. You got it. Which am I? I'm not sure. That is exactly what today is for. So I guess, you know, it's probably a good thing that they do daylight savings time between the Saturday and the Sunday, because then you got, everybody has, most folks don't work on Sunday. I know a lot of service industry folk do work on Sunday, but a lot of the, you know, the Monday through Friday workers, at least, they have that extra buffer day to sort of get combobulated after they get discombobulated. I mean, I guess that's what you do. You get combobulated after you're discombobulated. I don't really know if combobulated is a word, but I feel like it should be if you've got a discombobulated. Anyway, eMusic, I don't think... Okay, so didn't Congress vote to stop changing the clock starting next year? I don't think so. I do know that it's been on the table, like, a lot, but I don't think they've actually made that vote. And Darlene, see, I'm just the opposite of you. Well, I mean, I'm opposite, but similar. So you're not the biggest fan of daylight savings time. I am a big fan of daylight savings time. It's standard time I don't like. So I would rather us stay on daylight savings time all year round. The time that we have now, where it gets dark at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, fine. It got dark at like 5, but it felt like 3. It gets dark too early. I don't like that. I want it to stay darker later. In the morning, I don't care if the sun's not up until 8. I don't care. But I want the sun to be up when I come home from work. So it's the daylight savings time I like, but I just want to keep it all year. That's what I want. Rick, I'll take either system. Just stop changing the clock. And Andre, hey Andre, good to see you. Yeah, you can't get Dems and Republicans to agree on anything, not even time. Exactly. Let's see, Darlene, if it's standard time, then keep in place is what I should have stated. I'm with you. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And I think actually a lot of people prefer daylight savings time. They just don't like the action of what that phrase means. And let's see here. Kenny, okay, he's telling me the delicious, heart-starting, head-clearing coffee that Kenny enjoyed this morning was the Mukilteo blend that I sent to him a while ago, actually. So I'm glad you've still got some of that in your stock. That's right. Kenny, as many of you know, has donated so many DVDs to StatterBox at the cinema. And many months ago sent me a huge box of things from Bucky's. I actually, Kenny, you know, I haven't really talked about all the things that you sent from Bucky's. Part of the reason is because I haven't finished eating all of those things that you sent in the box full of Bucky's. That's how much stuff Kenny sent. So I decided when I was returning some of the DVDs that Kenny had donated that maybe I could throw in something from the Pacific Northwest, because I don't got no Bucky's, but I do have Johnny's seasoning salt, and we do have some good coffee roasters up here. So I figured I could throw him a bone, or rather some salt to season that T-bone, and some coffee to wake him up the next day. So let's see here. Rick, yeah, I know. So Rick is asking which way would Congress be voting? Always daylight savings time or always standard time? I don't know. The way I've read it, I assumed that it was always daylight savings time. But I actually have no idea. I have no idea. And Darlene, exactly, and Bucky candied pecans. So yummy. You guys, very rarely will you hear the words out of my mouth, you have to go to Texas. Like, that's really not something I say very often, but oh my God, you guys, you have to go to Texas. And when you go to Texas, you have to go to Bucky's. And when you go to Bucky's, you have to get their candied pecans. Holy flirking snit. That's all I can say, you guys. Holy flirking snit. Holy flirking snit. They are, they're as beautiful as they are delicious. How about that? How about that? They are as beautiful as they are delicious. And, let's see here. So Andre, you're saying if the Republicans win, they'll change the time to DT time, but I don't know what that means. You mean daylight savings time, or do you mean standard time? Because I'm confused about what that means. So let's see here. All right, Love Pat, good to see you. Glad you were able to drop in. Get on back to work there. And Darlene, bring an extra bag just to get stocked up from Bucky. That is it. That is it. Let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, it was your understanding that Texas had voted to get off the daylight savings train, but yet here we are. How about, oh, Donald Trump time. Got it. Now I get it. Now I get it. You know, Kenny, I don't really know if Texas can do that. Well, no, I guess they could because Arizona does it, and neither does Hawaii. Huh. Yeah, no, I just know that, oddly enough, the way the United States does their daylight savings time is tied in with our energy policy. And that happened during the Bush-Cheney years. And they thought that fiddling with the daylight savings time would help with energy consumption. They have since found out that it didn't. And anybody who... I never understood why they thought it would, because it's like an hour in the morning or an hour at night still equals the same amount of light use being needed to be used. Why would you use more lights in the morning than the evening, or vice versa? It just made no sense, but you know, very confusing. And let's see here. Oh, is that what it is? It's the federal highway money that's tied up in the daylight savings time brouhaha. Well, so wait a sec. Hawaii doesn't get any federal highway money? I find that hard to believe, that Hawaii doesn't get any federal highway money. I know that they did that with the drinking age, so Arizona doesn't get. That seems really discriminatory. So Arizona gets screwed because they don't want to do the thing, and Hawaii doesn't have to do the thing. That seems really weird, dude. I mean, I'm not saying that that's not true. In fact, the fact that it is so weird is like, oh, it probably means it's true. But that makes no sense. That's like not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. I do admit, though, from an airline perspective and coordinating international flights or whatever, having one state that doesn't participate, or even two states that don't participate in daylight savings time, has got to be a flippin' nightmare. Kenny from the Cove. So if you get away from daylight savings time, does that mean your federal highway money gets there an hour later? Yeah, I'm not sure that's the case. I don't think that's what Andre was saying. I don't think that's what Andre was saying at all. But your interpretation is good. I like that. I like that. And it would be a little bit more fair because at least they'd still get their highway money, right? Right. And, yeah, in Soviet time, all of the USSR was on Moscow time. That would be bizarre. And for a lot of countries, that would be no big deal. But, like, the USSR was, like, a quarter of the globe or something. Okay, fine. It might not have been a quarter of the globe, but good Lord. The USSR was, I think, like, 12... I don't know about 12 time zones, because that'd be half the globe. But, I mean, they had a lot of time zones, you know? I mean, maybe, like, 8, you know? It's far. It's wide. It's big. Let's see here. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Darlene. I knew that Hawaii didn't do it, but I thought that they, you know, would still get federal money. And Texas has its own power, so they don't need federal power money. Well, but you said it was the federal highway money, not federal power money, that gets held up. And Texas definitely needs federal highway money, just because Texas has so many miles to... Texas just has so many miles. How about that? Yeah. But yeah, Texas does have its own grid, which has caused some problems. And so let's see here. Yeah, Kenny, exactly. If it's 2:30 p.m. at Lennon's house, it's 2:30 p.m. at your house too. Exactly. Even if you're in Siberia and he is in Moscow, it's still the same time. And so let's see here. I said time was wrapped up in power. Well, no, I thought that it was, it was wrapped up in the energy. No, it is wrapped up in the energy. I see where you're saying, what you're getting now. Yeah, it is wrapped up in our energy policy for the United States. So, right. Since Texas has its own grid, their own power structure, etc. Right. I don't know. I mean, you're the one who said that they're not going to get their highway funds. So I would assume that Texas has already got its own thing going on with the power. So I'm assuming it would be the highway funds that they would be worried about losing if they did change, like Kenny said they had voted to. And yeah, Darlene, dude, Texas is so flippin' huge. I mean, I know that Texas likes to think it's the biggest. It's not. Alaska is. But it took me a couple days to drive across Texas. And yeah, I mean, and they were like full driving days. And Kenny from the Cove, drive down I-35 in Texas and you think Texas ain't getting a dime of federal money. You guys, yeah, I can appreciate that. In fact, that is sort of a perfect segue. I am going to play this video of what I've got, of what I did yesterday. And yeah, these of course are not highways. These are Seattle city streets, but whoo, buckle up. We're in for a rough ride. Yeah, I need to learn how to do image stabilization and I don't know how yet. So this video might be the one video that will spur me into learning because, well, get your motion sickness pills ready because it's a bumpy one, but here we go.
What's in your heart? What's on your mind? Ooh, Ooh, and they're turning all against me. I'm stepping to the side before the ship starts to sink in. To make the right choice, now they can stop all the complaining and look at the smiles on their happy faces. We gotta get along someday. Well, we gotta get along someday. Well, we gotta get along someday. Well, we gotta get along someday. Stop the anger as we face a new horizon. Give them all their land and then the answer's not surprising. And then we're gonna see them live in harmony and nature. That's how it began. That's why it won't end. Ooh, take a moment and listen. There can't be no more suspicion. Let's move on now to the other side. We gotta get along someday. Well, 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 we gotta get along someday.
Darlene, you got it. That was exactly it. That was the house. Darlene got it. And, you know, I thought that I was able to pause the video, but apparently I can't. So let's see here. Andre, yes, you know where this is. That on-ramp was closed when you were there. That is correct. That on-ramp leads to the West Seattle Bridge, and while you were in the West Seattle, Burien, Renton, SeaTac area, The West Seattle Bridge was closed, which made West Seattle even more of an island away from downtown Seattle than it normally is. Now that the bridge is open, streets are beautifully clear, whereas in the last 2 years, right as COVID hit, Seattle had to close the West Seattle Bridge, so the timing, I guess, was probably pretty good for that. But the 2+ years well, no, I guess it wasn't plus, but the 2 years that bridge was closed was very, very, very painful for people living on the Burien, White Center, West Seattle Peninsula, let me tell ya. And Kenny from the Cove, wouldn't it be too funny if the owner hung a Target sign on that infamous wall? I am pretty sure I am the only one who would think it's funny. But yes, it would be funny. And Andre, you remember people driving crazy on Ambaum when you were there? Well, yeah, I mean, duh. Ambaum and First are the two major main drag thoroughfares in the White Center / Burien area. And people in my neighborhood, as a general rule, don't acknowledge speed limits. It's just not a thing that you pay attention to. And the cops, as a general rule of thumb, don't really pull people over for speeding. So everybody does their thing on the main drags, and yeah. And then what happens is we get a California driver come up and go, "You guys are crazy here in West Seattle." Let's see here. You bet, really inconvenient. How much longer to get home those 2 years? Actually, for some people who lived near the West Seattle Bridge, they would literally have to take a commute of about 30 to 40 minutes down to the alternate small bridge, and then it would take another 30 to 40 minutes. So what once was a 20-minute drive to Seattle what once was a 20-minute commute to Seattle could actually take over an hour and a half. And after 2 years of that, it's really, really beautiful to get your bridge back. And when I say an hour and a half, I don't mean an hour and a half of like driving. I mean an hour and a half of sitting in stoplights and missing the light because only so many people could go through each light, and you've got to go 3 light cycles before you can go, and that, because it's all surface streets to get to this smaller bridge that was never intended to handle the kind of traffic that the West Seattle Bridge was built for. Because the reality is the West Seattle Bridge, before we called it the West Seattle Bridge, was actually called the West Seattle Freeway. Like, that's how many lanes are on it. They stopped calling it the freeway because they wanted people to stop doing 50 miles an hour on it when the speed limit was only 35. And they thought that changing the name from the West Seattle Freeway to the West Seattle Bridge would do that. I'm not suggesting it did, but I am suggesting that we call it the bridge rather than the freeway anymore. They still do 50 on it when you can. But Seattle, in all of their brilliance, they decided that in order to solve the pedestrian problem of pedestrians getting hit and killed by speeding cars, instead of installing better street lights and better marked crosswalks, what they would do instead is lower every 35-mile-an-hour speed limit to 25 miles an hour. Now, in theory, that sounds great, but here's the deal. Most of the people who got hit by cars were hit by cars that were already doing faster than 35 miles an hour. So I fail to understand the logic that states the people who were already paying no attention to the speed limit and hit somebody, well, we're going to solve that problem by lowering the speed limit they already weren't paying attention to. So, yeah. And so that's why, Andre, part of the reason why everybody drives all wild and crazy in West Seattle is because not one single person has paid any attention to the recent speed limit change from 35 to 25. everyone just points and laughs at the sign. It's just like, are you kidding me? We've never done 25 on this road. This road, you do 40. You do 40 on this road, not 25. Now, granted, you shouldn't do 40 on the road because it's really 35, but you know, that's just how we roll here. And let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, you dare any metropolis to prove that their traffic is more insane than traffic in Austin, Houston, Killeen, or Temple. I've never been to Killeen or Temple. Austin's traffic is weird. It has some... Yeah, I almost got into an accident in Austin. The way the roads... Yeah, Austin is messed up, dude. Houston I didn't have a problem with, but Austin city streets require you to do weird things that, to me, was just asking to get killed. Let's see here. In Oakland, they hit a lot of buildings, especially in East Oakland. The house, restaurants, liquor stores, even sometimes buses hit them. Oh no, that's not good when buses hit them. That is definitely not good. But, Darlene, there is, or Rick, I think, I can't remember if it was Darlene or Rick, but it sounds like your neighbor has been hit twice with cars. There is a particular house on Ambaum, and as Andre mentioned earlier on the stream, the drivers on Ambaum were crazy. Well, there is a house on Ambaum in what we call the Ambaum S-curves, because it's a little curvy section, obviously. And everybody drives crazy on Ambaum, and when you're going through the S-curves, sometimes people lose control. And there is one house that I don't know how many times it's been hit. Like, I can think of twice recently. I mean, and they've even got, you know, cement, like, what are they called? Jersey barriers or whatever. You know, I mean, they've really tried to make it so people won't hit the house. But instead, you know, you hit that Jersey barrier and it's just, you hit the house in a different way. That's all. And yeah, it's some houses just are, or as Andre pointed out, some businesses, they're just in a bad spot. They're just in a bad spot. And Andre, oh yeah, I remember that S-curve part. You thought that was a stupid way to design a road. Yeah, well, you know, it is what it is. I'm not sure what the logic was, but now that road's there, fixing it would definitely create a lot of eminent domain issues, shall we say. And Rick, exactly, around here, lower speed limits, when they don't work, the next step is speed bumps. And that is what I've always said about the Ambaum S-curves. I was like, look, and I say this as somebody who likes to go through the S-curves really fast because it's fun. It is, it's fun. And, you know, I'm not saying you should do it. I actively know you should not. But I also actively know that I'm going to keep doing it until there's speed bumps. And so, really, the only way to solve the Ambaum S-curve problem is to install speed bumps. Now, whether or not the city is going to do that, I have no idea. But really, speed bumps are, as annoying as they are, and why are they annoying? Because I like to go fast. And so does that make them effective? Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And let's see here. Andre, Texas doesn't even get on the top 10 worst traffic in the U.S. Well, when I'm talking about Austin's traffic, it has very little to do with the speed as much as the design of where they expect you to go, and it's just insane. They've just got some roads that are just like, wait, what? In order for me to make a left-hand turn, I have to do a U-turn into 18 lanes of speeding traffic just to go to the grocery store, and I have to cross that 18 lanes of speeding traffic, and it just, no, I didn't like it. And Boston is the worst traffic in the U.S. That doesn't surprise me for a multitude of reasons. First off, Boston's an old city. Their streets are ridiculously small. But most importantly about Boston is Boston is actually not that big of a city. I mean, it's a big city, don't get me wrong, but it's not that big population-wise. However, every single Monday through Friday, from 8 p.m. to 6 p.m., the size of Boston doubles because of the people coming in from the suburbs to work in the city. So literally, the work days double the population of the city, which can only mean incredibly huge traffic. I mean, there's not a whole lot of cities in the world that can say, oh yeah, dude, not only do we have our people who live here who work here, the equal amount of people that live here come in every day to work here. That is so incredible. Let's see here. Yeah, Boston. Well, yeah, Boston is small, but they have close to 1 million people. So I'm not going to say that like it's a small city, because you know 1 million people isn't anything to sneeze at. But it's a lot. But it is a tiny little geographical city. It's tiny, and it doubles in size every weekday. I you know, as bad as their traffic might be, and is obviously, I will not really hold it against them, because I mean, because there's a lot of things you can hold against Boston, but the traffic, it's like, well, you know, you've got good reason for traffic like this, you know? I mean, really, you've got good reason. And let's see here, Kenny from the Cove, maybe should build a serious ramp by houses on S-curves. Let them get all evil Knievel if they don't want to slow down. You know, miss the curve and excuse me while I kiss the sky. No, I don't want to go flying. I just want to go through the S-curves. Yeah, San Jose probably is a lot bigger space-wise. You know, because, I mean, back in the day when our country was being founded, megalopolises weren't really that common yet, right? You know, so Boston, I'm sure at one point Boston was like the biggest city around, but you know, it has since been dwarfed by, you know, well, by Dallas Fort Worth, probably, actually, among other, you know, San Jose. I'm guessing that Oakland is probably bigger than Boston, actually. So let's see here. And you've been to Boston and it seems really small. Yeah, I mean, it really is, for as densely packed as it is a pretty tiny town. But like I said, I didn't want to call it a small town because, you know, when you got like close to 1 million people living there, I ain't gonna call that town small. It's just what I'm saying. Oh yeah, let's see here. And Belly Bear, Los Angeles traffic is always under construction. The Tijuana-San Diego border crossing coming back is crazy. And San Diego keeps adding freeway lanes to accommodate everybody that moved here. And yeah, yeah. And you know, they've shown that like adding freeway lanes actually doesn't solve traffic problems. It only adds to them. So, you know, carry on with your freewayed self, California, but, lots of cities have done what you're doing and it just does not work. Atlanta, for instance, oh my God, I cannot believe the freeway spans in Atlanta. I mean, we're talking 7 or 8 lanes in each direction. We don't even have enough land on the high line in my area to have 7 or 8 lanes. We don't have enough room between bodies of water in the Seattle area to have 7 or 8 lanes in each direction, for God's sake. I couldn't believe it when I was in Atlanta, just how huge those flippin' freeways were. And when I say huge, I mean just wide. On the other hand, when I was there, the traffic wasn't bad in the sense of slow. I mean, it kept moving, but it was a little intimidating to see freeways that big. I'm not from an area with freeways that big. At all. Let's see here. Kenny from the Cove. Austin is proof that when you lay out your streets, you should first do your street plans. And when that's all done, then smoke the joint. Austin city planners did it in the wrong order. There you go. Let's see here. The Atlanta airport is so huge it's got its own subway. Well, you know, actually, a lot of airports have their own little trams and stuff, but they have an actual, like, subway, like, just within the airport? Or are you talking about MARTA? That goes everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but goes all around the Metro Atlanta regional area. Are you talking about MARTA, or are you talking about a different subway? And I guess MARTA's not really a subway; it's just a train. But, oh, it's just the airport subway? Trippy. I don't remember. I've flown out of Atlanta. I don't remember much about it. I mean, it's a Delta hub, but, I don't remember it being that big. I mean, that's not to say it wasn't that big. I'm just saying I don't remember it that well. But I will say one of the biggest airports I've ever been to was in St. Louis. It was a very strange experience going to the St. Louis airport. It was one of the first airports I'd ever seen. Now, this was a long time ago when I was at this airport. And most airports now have done what St. Louis did. But it was one of the first airports that I ever went to where I was like, wow, this is like being in a mall. It just was so flippin', it was like a shopping center rather than an airport. And, you know, I just wasn't used to seeing a mall in the airport. I was just used to airports being airports. But now they're both. And I don't really understand. Like, who goes shopping when they're at the airport? I don't... It doesn't make sense. Everything... You've already checked your bags. If you didn't check your bag, now you're buying more stuff to haul onto the plane? It just... I don't understand how all of these things... I mean, it's like... These stores, they're past the security guards, so it's not like... some random schmo in St. Louis or in SeaTac or in wherever can go shopping at the store in the airport unless they have a ticket and a boarding pass. So it just confuses me. Andre, you like the Seattle airport? It's big and international and also has a bus station as well as when it comes to Alaska Airlines. Seattle is the airport that I am most used to, obviously, and it is the gold standard of which my airport experiences are held to. I wouldn't say it's a great airport, but you know what, man? I at least know my way around it. And I really like the little trains that you have to take when you have to go out to the north or the south. Yeah, you actually might not know, Andre, if you probably didn't have to take the little trains, but when you're flying international or if you're flying to Hawaii, there's little trams that you have to take to go out to that gate, I guess is what it is. So the north terminal and then the south terminal both have their own little, I don't know if it's a subway or if it's below ground or not, but it's their own little train. And Poppy Shaney, the Seattle airport, also has excellent food. Yeah, I guess. I mean, you know, it's got a lot of the restaurants we've got in Seattle, right? Although I do know that Tony Bourdain, whenever he flew into Seattle and was in the SeaTac airport, he would always seek out Ivar's and go get a bowl of clam chowder. Speaking of which, you guys, I know I promised that I was going to post the Ivar's clam chowder recipe that I have on the Discord, and I completely forgot. So... don't think that I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it when I remember. And hopefully, I'm going to write this down right now, and hopefully it will happen after this stream is done. So I'm going to write Ivar's Discord. There we go. And the recipe for the Ivar's clam chowder that I will be sharing to all of you is a white clam chowder, New England style clam chowder. It's a little bit thicker. It's not as thin as some of the, say, Connecticut style clam chowder is, because there's a bunch of different style clam chowders. And it's not the Manhattan style. It's not the Connecticut style, which is more like a soup. This is definitely the white style, and it is a smidge thick, but you can adjust the recipe to make it thinner or thicker as you prefer. Although I wouldn't recommend making it thicker. Let's see here. And Andre's saying you still get out of the airplane outside. You found the airport real easy in Seattle, so you will be returning. That's cool, but wait, what? I've never in Seattle gotten out of the airplane outside. Have I? I mean, I'm sure that you can and do, and there isn't, but that's not normal. That's not normal, dude. And let's see here. Let's see here. So Poppy Shaney, now that we've talked about what Anthony Bourdain likes at the Seattle airport, What do you like when you're at the Seattle airport? What's the grub that you go for? And Darlene, the airport in Denver's area was large, but I don't think it's large as LA. I don't know. I think it might be larger than LA, Darlene, because I feel like when Denver's airport was built, it was like one of the biggest airports. I'm lying, I think. I know that it was one of the first fully automated airports, but I feel like it might have been really big too. I mean, because LA has a couple different airports, you know, so they're not... Gosh, you know, now I'm very curious if Denver's airport is bigger than LA's, because I want to say it is, but then I'm like, it's not. But I want to say it is. And let's see here. Belly Bear, you had a layover in San Francisco and this guy bought lots of Christmas gifts in the terminal. Then the airplanes would not let him board with all his purchases, so he had to go buy 2 suitcases in the airport and check them. Okay. Now I understand. It's a flippin' racket. They want to charge you. They want to sell you some luggage, and they want to make you check your bags. That's what that is. It's a conspiracy. It's a racket. I can see, though, you know, why people... I do, as counterintuitive as it seems, I can also see, though, why there is a luggage store in the airport. Because, you know, if your luggage, like, explodes, or if you need another luggage... Well, I guess I'm stuck at the airport, gonna have to go buy a luggage. Luggage stores are one of the stores in an airport I can kind of understand. But other stores, I just don't really get it. Yeah, eMusic, see, I'm not just making this up. I recall when Denver Airport was built, there was lots of talk about it being so big. And I really, I mean... It might not have obviously served as many flights as, say, O'Hare or Atlanta, but as far as, like, size goes, I really feel, and when I say I feel, that means I don't know, I really feel like it was big. And let's see here, Poppy Shaney, clam chowder is what you like, and you can get good halibut and other fish. Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And so Andre's coming in with Denver International Airport is 135 square kilometers. Okay, that's huge. So I guess the next question is, how big is the Los Angeles airport? Because Darlene was thinking, well, there's no way that LA could be tinier than Denver. And I'm all over here like, I don't know, I think it might be. So I guess the question is it? Is it? And let's see here. Rick, Denver at least has people movers, so you don't have to hike halfway across, but Chicago, on the other hand, you just wear your Nikes for a hike. That's funny. Okay, so see, all right, see, so I am not making stuff up. Andre's coming in with more facts, covering a surface area of 135 kilometers. The Denver International Airport is the 3rd largest airport in the world. The largest is King Fahd International in Saudi Arabia with an astonishing 776. What do you know? Yeah, okay. No, well, you know what though, Darlene? LA's could have just been like laid out weird and wrong, and so it seemed super big. But Kenny from the Cove, definitely, you have got my number solid. Statter can neither confirm nor deny anything she says in this chat. She may be wrong. She may be wrong. There we go. And so Belly Bear, Google says that it is the largest one in the US. So, okay, all right. So Darlene, you were in the biggest airport. You were. It might not have seemed like it, but that is what you were doing. You were hanging out in the largest airport in the world. I've been to Denver too, and you know what? I think the Denver airport is one of the first places I've ever... No. Atlanta, I think, had some too. But those people movers are awesome. I feel like in Atlanta... I rode on one of those, and then I know I did in Denver. So yeah, those little people movers are abso-flippin-lutely very important when it comes to the large airport things. It is so awesome, you guys. You're just like, all right, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Let's figure out what's going on here. And so you're all coming in, Belly Bear. Yeah, biggest in the US. Andre. Oh, dude, so big. Yep, there we go. Definitely have to fact check pretty much anything I say without a doubt. But one thing you don't have to fact check is it is getting to be wintertime again. And as it were, with daylight savings time, the sun is setting a little bit earlier than usual. And there we go. I'm going to share with you a Lono tune called This Setting Sun.
Count the stars above in
All right, there we have it. Yeah, Belly Bear, exactly. Never get tired of his natural musical talent. Although, you know, as natural of a talent as he is, let's not forget, he has been playing his instruments since I think he was probably like 4 or 5 years old. So, you know, when you've been playing the ukulele and guitar for your entire life like that, obviously, it's nice to assume it's natural talent, but dude practices all the time. You know, I mean, it's you don't get that good by just picking up the instrument occasionally. And I have to say, as odd as it is to hear that, you know, Lono still practices his guitar, he does. So you know, it's kind of depressing. It's like, I'm never going to be that good, mostly because I don't want to practice as much as he practices. And, you know, that's the way it is for all of my musician friends who are really good musicians. They constantly practice. It's not like, they just pick it up and are so good at it. Yeah, well, they also spent 3 hours yesterday playing that song and whatever. And oh my God, what is going on? My hair. Oh, this is just awful. So let's see here. Yeah, it's his life, part of him. Talent doesn't come easy. Exactly. Talent comes with a lot of hard work. And I think Lono is an example of that for sure. Andre, thank you so much for all those biddies. Let's see here. I think that's 9, but I'm not sure, or 900 that is. I'm not sure, but thank you so much. And let's see here. Andre, he practiced guitar and hula and also has a life as well. Yeah, actually, I don't think he does a lot of hula anymore. His Kumu hula is no longer with us, and the halau that the Kumu was the head of, I believe, has moved to, has consolidated with another halau. So I'm not so sure that he does the hula anymore now that the Kumu has passed along, but he absolutely still has the knowledge of the songs and the dances, which was why he took hula to begin with, was so he could actually learn the chanting and the history and the songs. So not so much necessarily the dance, but the stories. However, you know, if you're gonna learn the stories, you gotta learn the dance. So yeah, so he definitely spent, I want to say, about 6 years practicing hula with Kumu John, and I don't remember what John's last name is, so I'm not gonna tell ya. And let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, Lono is every bit as talented as Glenn Campbell was, maybe more, in my humble opinion. What a strange little what a strange comparison person, Glenn Campbell. I mean, I'm not arguing with your statement, but like, of all of the musicians that you could have picked, Glenn Campbell just seems like, I know you're from Texas, I know, but like, I mean, Glenn Campbell's good too. But you know, there's like, so many other things that could have, that so many other country musicians that you could have picked. And eMusic, some chance say that hula began in Molokai. Yeah, I was watching documentary on the hula with Kumu John, the one that Lono studied under, and yes, he was saying that Laika, I believe, was the dancer. Laka. Oh shoot. The woman who brought hula, thank you, eMusic, Laka, who brought the hula dance to the different islands, she was, yes, from Molokai, and that is where the dance, YouTube has an entire, has a whole history about that, YouTube has a video with Kumu John telling about that whole entire history, and one of the, even though Laka is now considered a goddess in Hawaiian mythology, folklore, belief, whatever words you choose to describe it, she was an actual real person and whose roots can be traced back to Molokai. And so she and her family and her halau spread the dance of hula throughout the islands. And one of the places, which I don't have a picture readily available on my system, but there is a heiau on the north shore of Kauai, which is a heiau dedicated to Laka, and it is where when I went there, I was told that this is where the hula was presented to the Hawaiian people. And that is what I was told by someone who lived there. What I have since come to believe, and obviously this is just my belief, I have no proof, but given what the local told me, and then what Kumu John says, what I actually believe happened is that is the heiau where Laka presented the hula dance to the people of Kauai, not necessarily the first time that hula was presented to Hawaiians. So this is, of course, Howley's probably misinterpretation of the historical facts. But one thing I can say, the heiau on Kauai that is dedicated to Laka is one of the most powerful places on Earth I have ever been. From the energies that are present there. So whether or not you believe in any of this, that particular platform, the heiau, is an amazing place to visit. Not very easy to get to, but some amazing views, and a very, very important heiau for a lot of people across the islands, especially hula dancers. So let's see here. And the Kauai heiau is in Hanalei. Yeah, actually, it's in the it's a little bit past Hanalei. You know, it's you have to go through that state park, the Ke'i Beach State Park. I don't know what it's called, but it's right near Ke'i Beach, and it's at the beginning of this trail, and you have to go down. And when I say the trail, it's the beginning of like the Napali Coast Trail, and you have to go down it a little bit, and then you have to go climb up, blah blah blah, and so. But yeah, it was one of my favorite places in the world to ever have visited, and I feel very honored to have experienced that. And let's see here. Belly Bear, what you meant by natural was Lono's music so organic and native of Molokai, of course, along with his different styles. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, you know, some people, you know, all right, excellent. I'm sorry that I misinterpreted that, because that is absolutely, that is very much what his music feels like to me as well. And so, let's see here. Andre, who brought tattooing to Hawaii? You remember that tattooing was brought to Samoa by two women from maybe Fiji, but not from Samoa. You know what? I don't know. Obviously, we might all know that Keone Nunez is the one who helped to revive the traditional tattooing practice in Hawaii. But you know what? I don't know. But obviously, Keone was not the one to bring it to. It's not the one to bring it to the island. So yeah, I don't know who it was. And Doe, apparently the ukulele actually, I think, came from Portugal. They didn't call it an ukulele, but I believe the instrument that the ukulele eventually morphed into came from Portugal with you know, the guys and the things, the Paniolo and then the sugarcane workers. Good Lord, words are hard. So let's see here. Okay, so Doe, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, cool. Of course you know what I'm talking about. You live on the islands. Why am I even guessing that you don't know what I'm talking about? And let's see here. Andre, you remember the heiau near Speaker Beach Park that was dedicated to the war god by the lonely one. Wait, the war god by the lonely one by sacrificing another chieftain. Yeah, I don't know of that one, but I'm not at all surprised to hear that is that is what that heiau may or may not have been used for. And could it be that the first settlers in Hawaii brought the tattoo with them? I don't know. I guess it all depends on who you mean by the first settlers there, Kenny. So that's so, you know, it all depends, I guess, on who you think the first people were. And exactly, there were many first settlers. That's why it's like, maybe, I don't know. Which first settlers are you guys talking about? All right, you guys, this was a fantastic chatter from the StatterBox crew. But before, let's see here, where can I do this? But before we leave you, I did Let's see here. I did manage to upload a picture that I took earlier today of Leo. And so I wanted to show you guys what Leo looked like today, even though this is very similar to every other picture I have of him. So here's Leo. He doesn't realize that I have disturbed him yet. And those are his little rear peats and his little belly. And he was snoozing soundly in the laundry cupboard. But that was about an hour and a half ago. And now he's eaten some meals and gone outside. But Leo, yes, Leo is the name of the kitty. He let me know. He let me know by meowing and wagging his tail. And yes, exactly, Kenny, Leo in Leo's air. Yes, there we have it. So we're about a minute past the bottom of the hour, which means we need to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for hanging out here. I want to thank everybody for the biddies, for the subs, the gift subs, etc., etc. We will see each other on Wednesday, and on Saturday, we will be watching The Princess Bride. So tell all your friends, tell all your relatives if they like this movie. We've got a free one for you this Saturday, 6 p.m. West Coast time. And yep, exactly, one of his favorite places to chill, up in the cupboard. You got it, Darlene. Okay, you guys, Kenny, thank you so much for the bits, and it is time to wind it up. So, hui ho, everyone. Have yourself a great rest of the weekend.